Hey, it's Michael, and I'm going to make a video real quick about motivation and how to gain intrinsic motivation, or at least how I do this. Most of these videos, if not all of these videos, are basically my own personal philosophy and how I achieve the things I do and the life that I want to live. And I make these just in case they may give you some ideas and kind of explain why it is that I do the things I do for anybody that's interested. If you're fine with your life the way it is and you don't see value in some of the things that I display about my life, then of course, then disregard, or you're probably not watching this. So these videos are targeted to the people that may be interested in changing their life a little bit. And this is something that I am intimately familiar with, changing life and understanding value, what's valuable and the virtues that it takes to achieve these things for me. So basically, my belief is that the most, and hold on one second, just wanted to make sure that I was recording, that the most valuable asset that we have is time. Time is finite and it's irreplaceable once it's gone. Whereas if you go broke with money-wise, you can always achieve more money. So that being said, I believe that it is exceptionally important to have a very, very high awareness, a daily observation of, if nothing else, of the present moment, the future, the past, and having gratitude for the present moment, and maybe trying to figure out how you can make the most of the present moment and appreciate it, as well as how can you put yourself in a position to have an exceptional future. So one of the ways that I do this is by acknowledging approximately how many days I have left on the planet. For me, I'm 43 years old, about to turn 44, and that means I have about 400 days remaining if I live to my expected lifespan of 2055, which is what my tattoo says. It's a Chiquita banana sticker with 2055 on there. But anyway, so I do have a high awareness of this, and I have a timeline that's actually mapped out to like 20-year increments on a big poster board, probably about this big, and I'm about halfway through it. And on that poster board, I have acknowledged many things. For instance, the places that I've lived, the people that I've been in relationships during that time, the jobs that I've had, some of the vacations that I took. And you could imagine, like, say for instance, later in life, if I lost some of my memory, then this would potentially trigger some memories of that. But it's kind of like a snapshot of basically the life that I've lived, just in a graphical form, as well as a recognition that at this point it's only halfway done for me. If I take care of myself and if I live to my mathematical expectation of a full lifespan. So taking that into consideration, and that we're going to assume that time is your most valuable asset, then by taking care of yourself now and having recognition of these things now and ownership, and not being arrogant and thinking that this is just going to happen on its own in a healthy way without you taking excessive action. If this is your baseline consideration, number one, time management, and time management as your greatest asset. So it behooves you, of course, to do things now that allow you to appreciate your time now, and also to give you the most quality time that you can have in the future. So the quality is going to come from you putting yourself in a physical situation of health and wellness, and also an emotional situation of health and wellness. So you do this by nourishing your body, by moving your body, by educating yourself on what it is that is important to you now and in the future, and by decompressing your body in a healthy way from the stresses that you face now. And all of these things are discussed in other videos, and that's the primary consideration for mend yourself. So if you follow mend yourself, then what you're doing is you're basically putting yourself in the best position that you can be in the future if you do this with strong intention, and you do it consistently and passionately, with enthusiasm, not as though it is a chore, but as in it would be absolutely crazy to do anything other than that. And that's basically how I feel. Right now, it's probably about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was supposed to work tonight, and they called me off until 1 o'clock in the morning. So basically, between 7 and 1, I was on call and had to be available for the hospital. At 1:01 in the morning, I was on my bicycle. I rode my bicycle into Biloxi to Planet Fitness, worked out for about half an hour, maybe a little bit more, and now I'm still on my bicycle, and I probably will be for a few more hours and watch the sunset. So to me, this is me basically utilizing my time right now in an awesome manner. Like, I could be at home watching television, I could be at home eating popcorn and cheese, and I may do these things later. It's not to say that I don't do these things, but this is more important. This is the baseline. I can decompress many ways, and this is primarily decompressing right now as well. And then later on, if I feel like poisoning myself or treating myself, then I can do it with intention, knowing that at least I met my primary objectives for today and put myself in a position for the future. So some of the other intrinsic motivation patterns come from a realization of what I call press if happy, which is physical, relational, emotional, social, spiritual, intellectual, and financial. And these 7 areas of life and the consideration of these things in your decision-making process. So if you consider moving yourself, educating yourself, nourishing yourself, and decompressing yourself, and you take those in correlation, in conjunction with press if happy, then what you're doing is it's kind of the whole picture there. So let's just say physical. What I'm doing right now on this bicycle is I'm moving. I'm building strength, I'm building muscle, I'm building bone density, and cardiovascular endurance, and all of the 11 systems of the body are working right now while I'm on this bicycle. And it doesn't take much thought. It's actually quite thoughtless, and it gives me time to actually meditate as I'm pedaling this bicycle, and it's quite rejuvenating. So relational, if you don't take care of your body, if you don't have respect for the time and the future you, then it's possible that this may hinder or limit your ability to be in a relationship for your full lifespan. And if you don't encourage your spouse to do the same thing, then this is also true. So 2 people in a relationship should be encouraging each other and lifting each other up and assisting each other in this way, not compromising each other. And I talk a little bit about that in a video talking about influence and your 5 main motivators or influencers in your life. So then that was relational, emotional. Of course, you're being out here and doing this is very good for my emotional health. It's good for my endocrine system. It's good for me just for decompressing in a healthy way, which is, it actually, after being out here for a while, it gives me a sense of euphoria. So rather than chemically medicating with alcohol or drugs or whatever people do, food and these types of things, I'm emotionally strengthening myself just by my actions. Socially, if I am physically active, then this puts me in a position to find social circle of friends that are also physically active. And that also is included in having an awareness of the 5 people that influence you the most. The 5 people in situations that you find yourself most frequently in are going to be your greatest influencers. So spiritual, if you believe that the earth is sacred and that the wind and the sky and the trees and just being out and enjoying the planet is something that's important, then you need a healthy body in order to achieve this. Intellectually, if you're moving, then you are increasing the blood flow to your brain. And then also I can say that there are many instances where I have had I will say original thought or complex thought or creative thought that probably would not have happened had I not been moving. And a lot of times this is on jogs or hiking or biking or even on just road trips in the car. So a lot of times you have to put your brain in a certain type of a state in order to achieve a certain type of thought process. And this is one of the things that this does for me, as well as I was saying, meditation and my ability to kind of focus on what are the important things at any one time, and just kind of hone in to a deep consideration of something that may pop into my mind while I'm on the bike that I didn't even realize that was going to arise. And acknowledging that and having the time and the awareness and observation and the willingness to actually appreciate that and not try to fight against it, to actually consider it very deeply. And then financial, if you are in a healthy body and a healthy mind, then this says a lot about you just in your physical presence and the way that you interact with people, hopefully. And then also it's going to make it to where you are less sick, to where you have more energy, to where you are possibly more aware, and just maybe make yourself a better candidate for an employee or a better logistical, and put yourself in a better logistical situation just because of the person who you have created yourself to be, as well as potentially being able to sustain that work effort longer. Or you may actually even realize that working your ass off for things is not what you need to do, and you may figure out that simplifying your life is more important, and moving and educating and nourishing and decompressing yourself and spending time with friends and family and spending times alone may be more important than the acquisition of money or things. So anyway, so this is where my motivation comes from. It doesn't come from watching YouTube videos of other people. It comes from a strong awareness of what my primary goals are and how do I achieve that, what makes me feel good, what makes me feel bad, accentuate the positive, alleviate the negative. And it's actually quite simple once you start implementing these things. So anyway, I'm going to get back to my bike ride, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thanks. Bye. Have a good day. Mend yourself.